I realized that I rely a lot on my strength. I feel like I'm an effective communicator, especially in an IEP meeting. I also do a great job of fostering relationships with parents that even if I'm not doing a good job, the relationship has solidified itself that grace is allowed. And what I mean by that is I may fumble the ball and it's okay. The parents are never appearing in an IEP meeting contentious, right? They never look like they have a scowl on their face, which gives administration relief. And I think because that relief is there, everyone is just simply okay. Now, what I've realized about myself is that although I'm operating at an average level, I feel I can become better. And I've identified better comes from time management. I would say I have poor time management. Again, I rely on the ability to foster relationships with people. But what I do not take into consideration is what they may say from a professional standpoint about me to another colleague, to my principal. And I realize that I need to stop living in a life of, if there's an issue, you're going to bring it to my attention. Right? Like, I don't say yes to something unless I mean yes. I don't say things are okay to someone and then go talk to my principal about it. So what I realize is, as a professional, they don't need to give me contention. For example, if I ask them, is this okay? They could just simply say yes. And they have the right to go communicate something to my principal about it. But if I operate within good time management, then when I'm communicating as a professional, I'm doing just that, right? So let me dive in a little bit more about that. I tend to maybe talk to my school psych and I can say, oh man, this is not done. She'll say, oh, okay, no problem. But I don't know if when she talks to my VP or my principal about it, does her narrative appear to be different? Does she say things like, oh yes, I was unable to do something or complete my assessment because Miss Peters haven't done this? Oh yeah, can you guys talk to Miss Peters because I'm needing this, right? I never think about that. And I think culturally, from a standpoint, I look at us all being on the same team, and just like you may ask me to do something, I simply do it, right? You could ask me to do something that's last minute. You could ask for a kid to be in my class. I'm like, yeah, no problem. My no problem means no problem. But I have to realize that other people's no problem does not mean no problem, right? That's one thing. And so when I realize with my time management too, what I'm going to ensure that I do is really allow myself enough time for errors and to correct errors, right? So I decided that I was going to start my planning process 60 days, 60 school days prior to that IEP meeting. So before I schedule that meeting, I'm talking to the team, saying, which day is good for you guys. So before I even calendared it, which days can you guys do? Talking with the parents, collecting that data, right? Start to update that IEP much as possible. I tend to do things at the last minute because that's my strength, right? I realize my strength is, dude, give it to me in the last 2 seconds. I'm gonna hit that basket. I operate really well under stress, so I can knock out an IEP really quick, like within good 2 hours. But that I can't do that though. What I'm realizing about myself, as a professional, I can't rush things because I may make a mistake and I may not allow room for mistakes. For example, it was I hadn't communicated to a parent that a kid was not transitioning to his PE class. Right now, as a case manager, the parent shouldn't have heard that for the first time in an IEP. Right? I should have already brought that to her attention, and let's start correcting things. Let's take it off the IEP, because this IEP, this is compliance. If you're saying a kid is receiving this many minutes here, and then they're also being mainstreamed here, they need to be doing that, or we need to look at this IEP to correct something. So it's just like little things. Also, I realize I'm not closing IEPs. It's certain signatures I'm needing, and I don't allow time just to fix this IEP. Like once an IEP is done, I'm like, okay, it's done. But it's not done. I don't have the signatures, especially if I was doing web IEP. I'm not following up like I need to do, and that prolongs everything. When you're missing that one signature, then you can't close that IEP. And if you don't remember that you did not get that signature, then you're basically, I'm not going to say a inappropriate word, but you have to allot that day of that IEP. So when I think about just my reflection about how I'm going to do IEPs, I'm going to have an IEP day, per week. So my best practice moving forward is like on Thursdays. That is my IEP date. Like that's the day I stay late. That's the day that I make, because I'm not going to take work home anymore. I don't really do that anymore. So I really have to manage my time effectively at work, and I need to have an IEP date like towards the end of the week, so I'm catching things every week to help move things along. Okay, like if a parent has to came in to sign, I have to now either stay late so they can come up there to sign it, walk them through the DocuSign, or send it home with them first, so I can try to get that signature before everybody else's, or send a copy. It's a lot of things that I can do to ensure that signature, and I need to make sure I'm doing it. I've had even people stop at people's homes to get signatures. I have to be flexible, especially if you're working in an area where it's not as feasible for a lot of parents to come up to the school. They don't have technology, or they're not even knowledgeable about it. So I have to be flexible. I have to create systems, and I know I can become a better professional as it relates to this. Thank you.